says it's easier to keep her head down.
Oh, if you hear babies crying, I apologize.
She
Like
looks
my
at you
little
strange
newborn.
when you say there's hope. That's how rebellions work, don't you know? Rebel girl, rebel girl, rebel girl, they know you. It's gonna be your time for breaking through, for breaking through, for breaking through, through. She's waiting for someone to stand by her side.
Rebel Girl F105. This is the Rebel Scum Flying Casual live stream. It's Monday night. That's why we're doing this. We only do it on Mondays. Today, though, Andrew Fantasia, he decided to skip work. He should have been here, but whatever. I'm joined with another special guest. We got At Chat joining us today. What up?
What's up? Thanks for having me on, man.
Thanks for coming
This
on.
is very exciting for me.
I actually think you're the reason Andrew's not here. I think you scared him off.
No way.
Yes.
There's no way I'm any form of intimidating.
I don't know. Have you ever seen him do a trivia contest? He fails miserably at all.
Oh, really? I honestly, I probably would do really badly at those trivias under pressure. Just because, like, the second someone would be like, do this Star Wars trivia thing, I'd probably pass out.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know anything. But, dude, seriously, thank you for having me on. I've been a long-time listener when I had no YouTubes going on, and I was under the name Nick Voss.
Yes,
So
you were.
Yeah, we talked about that, and you were like, "Oh yeah," and I was like, "Yeah, that was me watching you way back in the day for a long time."
And then
So-
you're like, I'm out of here. I'm going to do my own thing and surpass you. Mwahaha.
It's weird, man. It's so weird how this worked. I just started making roast videos, and then all of a sudden, things are working out well.
No, it's awesome. I love to see your channel succeeding, man. It's I've been wanting to do a video with you for a while.
Yeah, same.
And then you told me who you were, and I was like, what? Because
Yeah.
I'm not like Sherlock Holmes or Batman. I'm very bad at putting two and two of anything together. So it was awesome. Even last week on your live stream with Girls with Sabers, I called you Nick, and I was like, it still took me a second. I'm so
Yeah, it's
slow.
weird to separate it, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh yeah.
I'm trying to get my folks used to my name every now and then, so like I'll say it here and there, just because like eventually I will show my face, like which I'm doing now, which is I'm more like stop motion right now because of just the bandwidth, but that's cool.
Yeah, I live in
like
the
it.
woods.
I mean, so do I, kind of. The
Oh,
woods
well.
the woods near the ocean.
Oh
Near
no.
yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't have any. I have a lake and a river, and a lot of fishing going on around me. A lot of fishing.
Ever a minute?
What was that?
That's awesome. I live next to like fish capital of the world, Gloucester,
Oh,
where the perfect storm occurred. Yeah.
like
So,
I like that movie.
But yeah, man, it's so exciting to be on here. I hope people can see right behind me over here, little Ray and Luke in the distance. It's like my one tiny shrine, and you have a pretty sweet shrine behind you, I can see.
I have a shrine. I don't know if it's that sweet, but it's pretty cool. I just got a new addition today. Can I show you? I got this Jin Urso. These are like so cheap.
Oh,
on
amazing.
They're so cheap on Amazon, but they come like all dinged up. So I guess I
Oh,
can't.
dude, mine was so dinged up too.
Yeah, I guess I can't sell for my bucks. I said that. Yeah, my internet just was like, what?
All right, well, cool. And I got the box. Sorry, I have a little bit of a cold I'm still getting over. I have an eternal cold now that I have another newborn. It just doesn't go away.
I've heard that about, well, not so much newborns, but children. That's how you get sick, right? It's just have a kid and they touch every germ on the planet, and then you inevitably
Literally.
get it. Yeah.
Literally. So yeah, you might hear me cough here and there. But yeah, so I got this thing in the freaking mail, and the whole thing was just warped, and I was going to keep it in its box and finally nail a non-open toy to my wall, like put it up in the little shrine area. And it was just so warped the hell I had to open it. But it was kind of fun playing with a Knight of Ren. So
I should be getting one tomorrow, and I can't wait to see mine, to see the terrible condition that it comes in. That's what I'm more than anything excited for, is that condition that you know it's not going to happen.
But I did get like a couple other things from the new waves that came in a nice pristine form. A nice Kylo Ren.
Ooh, Black Series or Vintage?
Black Series.
Nice. White box?
I couldn't. Honestly, like, I'm surprised anybody got a white box unless they went to the convention. I guess some people found them somehow in stores or whatever.
If you want
But
one,
I
let me
saw
know.
nothing. Really?
Kylo Ren white box, Kylo Ren Rey. I got Second Sister white box. They have.
I would 130% want to get that Kylo Ren white box.
Well, the
We'll have to
Walmart.
talk
there's
after.
a Walmart near me sold out of the Rey white box, but they still have a Kylo Ren left as of my lunch today. They still had it, which was kind of crazy. I'm with you though. I was like, these aren't going to be anywhere. Now I have seen them everywhere, so we'll talk after for sure.
That's so wild. That's cool. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm. You can salesman me whenever you want for Kylo Ren white box.
Everyone
I'm ready.
Everyone wants a Kylo Ren. All right, the chat is up. I can't see anything, so let me go to my phone.
Oh wait, I think we almost just like hit live. Oh, there we go. Now we're back to Stroby. Oh nope, real time.
Oh, real time.
Nice.
All right. Yay!
It's kind of happening.
Everyone's here. Hey, all.
You know what's probably going on? Like, I have a lot of chest hair exposed, so
Yeah.
YouTube might just be slowing us down and trying to demonetize us because I have an illegal amount of chest showing.
And it's your face also. Everyone's
Yeah,
like, what?
I haven't shaved, so.
I was really excited to see that clone trooper mask on.
Well, I also have like nunchucks ready if we need to have that happen. I have 2 Ninja Turtles that are like 19 inches long next to me. You know, we're good to go. We have everything ready.
Awesome. Can't wait. Girls with Sabers send a super chat. Smash the like button.
Hey, Girls with Sabers.
Aye. Thank you very much for that. Everyone should smash the like button. We need it so I can pay for
Utini.
internet.
Utini.
Houdini.
I said that so wrong for so long. I still say TD.
I thought it was Houdini, so that evens us out, I think.
I like Houdini.
Yeah, who doesn't? All right, let's talk about The Mandalorian before we get into this Rey Dagger thing. I know everyone's going to complain now, but there's more people watching right now than I thought would off the top, so let's talk about Rey's Dagger.
All right, nice. Let's do it. All right. Well, wait. So we're raised Dagger now?
I don't know what you want to talk. Well, you just watched the Mandalorian trailer. I threw you on the spot, and you're like, "Oh, let me check it out."
Well, I did just watch it. I do just want to say something about the Mandalorian. Nick Nolte. I forgot he was going to be in it, and I just heard him talk for the first time as the Ugnaught that he's going to play in that trailer.
He sounded great,
and he sounds pretty cool. He has a weird tone to it, and it reminds me. I don't know if you've seen this, the movie from Darren Aronofsky, Noah.
Yeah, I've seen Noah.
Nick Nolte played like weird. He played like that weird angel rock thing. I love his voice acting. So after seeing that, I was like, I can't wait to see him doing his stuff. Like in this, and the fact that he's in Star Wars is absurd. So that was what I took away from it. I was like, this is gonna be awesome. Everything else was pretty much the same, but I like it.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I was gonna say, I think the fact that like the motion control stuff is coming back, like we're getting some really weird, campy, authentic like Star Wars going on. Or at least I hope. It looks like it.
I think we are. I think this is coming back to what was Star Wars in the past. Which I mean, to a degree, The Force Awakens kind of brought us back there in a lot of ways too.
Oh, 100%.
But I think this is like, I mean, I put out a tweet earlier today, like, are they just going to give us a live action version of the animation from the holiday special with Boba Fett? Because that's what I'm getting right now with all this imagery that I'm seeing. And I'm super excited and okay with that, to be honest, because it's pretty dope.
It is funny. So, like, I know not, like, besides the films and some other things, I know, like, not much about Boba Fett. I know more about just Mandalorians in general because of Rebels and, like, the Clone Wars. And what's funny is, like, I was watching a lot of videos where people are like, oh, it's like they're calling it the Boba Fett show or whatever. It might have even been Hello Greedo saying something about this, how, like, it's confusing when you're so entrenched in Star Wars, you know the details like we do. We're like, of course it's not Boba Fett. But everybody else is like, what is this? It's just Boba Fett. But, like, the fact that we're going to be getting, like, a actual Mandalorian Dave Filoni-esque show, like, diving into that with live action, I don't think people are prepared for what they're about to see. It just looks violent and nuts.
Absolutely. I think they're gonna address Boba Fett very early on in this show.
I hope the main guy, the Mandalorian, literally only says "yeah, good" the entire 8 episodes or 10 episodes. Like, that's it.
That would be amazing.
He's like, "You want this water? Yeah, good."
Do you have any speculation as who you think the Mandalorian actually is?
Only based on the trailer. No, I don't think he's anything specific in terms of like, oh, it was him this whole time. I think it's just a kid that was saved during the prequel era, and I think that's what we saw in the trailer.
Yeah.
It looks like some kid's getting saved, and my nerdy brain went, all right, I got to go online and look at Mandalorian casual wear. So I did. And then it looks just like what they're wearing, except for I've never seen the emblem that he had on his chest before. So I'm pretty positive that this is just about a lost Mandalorian child become bounty hunter, and like that's kind of what I'm looking at it as. But
yeah, I can see that.
yeah.
I'm kind of on the same page as you.
I don't want it to be somebody though that we know. It's not in it. I don't think that's interesting.
No, they said it was going to be shocking, and I'm hoping it's shocking more in terms of the overall story and Star Wars than just necessarily like, oh, he's actually Watto. You know, like I hope it's more. You know, I hope
That would
it's
be so amazing.
It would be. I mean, if he took it off and he was a Toydarian under there, then
It's a Dagger.
could you imagine right now if everybody that bought his Black Series, you could take off that mask and his face is revealed and he is that Toydarian.
Now, is there a Black Series Toydarian? Because now I have to make that toy.
Not that I know of. I have the Funko Pop of Watto, and that made me incredibly
if
happy.
they ever do a Watto Black Series, I'm just gonna take the head off and put it on the Mando now. I'll make my own whatever. What is it again?
Toydarian.
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 Toydarian Mandalorian.
I have a lot of. I just love them. Whatever. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. So I don't know. Like I'm excited for this. I live in Canada where we get it November 12th, but we can't pre-order it yet.
I had no idea you were in Canada. Amazing.
Oh yeah. So I should tell you I'm in Canada. And you just hang up the phone and that's it. We're done. I am in Canada. That's why my internet's so amazing. And we can't pre-order Disney Plus yet, even though the trailer ends with pre-order now. It's like, well, are you teasing me on purpose? What's going on here? So.
Well, that's funny. I used to frequent Canada a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So when I was in a band, we would go up to Montreal every summer for like a week because we were playing this thing called Pooza Festival. Before I was a dad, I was in a punk band that was touring all the time, and it was like fun. And then I was like, nope, can't do that anymore. Let's talk Star Wars online. So yeah,
there's a bit of a difference there.
Yeah, it's a huge 180, but I love Canada, man. So some of my favorite other YouTubers are from Canada. Eckhart's Ladder. So
there you go. There's a lot. We have nothing better to do here. It gets cold fast. It gets cold so fast. Start flurrying already, and I'm like, I'm out. Let's go do some videos.
Oh boy, Jesus.
Yeah. All right, let's talk Ray's Dagger. That's what we gotta do. So I'm trying to fix this. So I might let you go on a tangent while I try to figure out what's going on. I've plugged it into my phone now, which should be super fast. But it's still not.
The good news is it seems like the audio's still going well. By the way, everybody who sees me drinking this cup, it's champagne.
Yes.
I'm celebrating the fact that I'm on the Rebel Scum podcast with champagne. Just let you know.
Something to celebrate.
So I don't know much about the dagger thing or if it's like a Sith dagger or not. I know there's been a lot of speculation of what it could be. What I do think is that is the MacGuffin. It's the only thing I can think of, like, by seeing that, like, that's going to be, like, some kind of, like... Oh.
Yeah.
The audio went out.
Okay.
Hold on, let's see what happens. At least we freezed on a good frame.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, is it like really a Sith dagger, or is that like that? Is that actually what it's called now?
I don't know. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna. All right, well, back. Sorry about that, everyone. Technical difficulties. This is the Flying Casual Rebel Scum podcast show. I'm James Azile, and joining me, of course, is what should I call you?
Is
now?
Nick.
I'm gonna say Nick. I'm gonna call you Nick, just in case. I don't know,
Yeah, Nick is cool because everybody should know my name is Nick because I've been telling them more often that is my name, and people either call me that or at chat or AT chat. AT chat is like a mouthful. I can't do it. But yeah, we're back. We're back after technical difficulties.
I'm sure the difficulties will be back.
It's a rite of passage. Anybody that streams online just goes through this. But yeah, the dagger. We have no context for this dagger, at least in my opinion. I don't care what the leaks have said or don't say or do say or what people think. I'm choosing to believe we don't know anything. Mm-hmm. My firm belief is any leak that came out that people have read or haven't read is based off of a young gun kid that released trailer information. Mm-hmm. Because it's so specific to only trailer scenes that have come out. So with that said, I speculate, and this would be such a deep cut, that very well could be the dagger of like Mortis.
Yes.
But I don't think it would be called that in the Rise of Skywalker, but I think it could serve the same purpose because Rey's going to be theoretically up against the ultimate evil in the dark side. And the only thing that can kill Force gods, if you will, is that dagger, right? So that's why I think it could be involved. But then again, it is a bit of a deep cut and a reach to hope the casual audience will follow that, maybe.
No, I gotta interject here because I know what you're saying makes complete sense, and I completely agree with that statement. However, when you said, so you just fixed that problem when you first started this by saying it won't be called that in this movie. The minute you don't call it in the movie, it becomes a prop of the MacGuffin of the movie. And so to me and you, we're like, oh, we can associate that back with the Clone Wars. But to the people next to me who have never seen Clone Wars, they'll be like, they'll think nothing of it, right? They'll have no idea. They're like, oh, that's the God Killer knife, sword, whatever, right? Like dagger. It's a little Peter Pan knife. Like that's how they'll associate it. So it doesn't really matter. And I'm glad you said that because I think when people love the animated series, right? The Clone Wars, Rebels, all that. Droids, Ewoks, most of all. But people love the animated series. But everyone has a problem, and I think this would be true of Disney and Lucasfilm, bringing aspects of that into live action and into like the mainstream motion pictures, the big budget blockbuster films that we're getting because they want everybody to feel like they are in on what's going on. They don't want anyone to feel excluded by it, right? You don't make a movie hoping to earn $2 billion, and exclude half your audience by being like, oh,
yeah,
well.
I agree with that.
But if you take an aspect of that has been established and you reestablish it in the film, then, like I just said, like we're all like giddy, like, yay, oh my God, I gotta go do more videos on this. And everybody else is like, that was cool. That was cool.
Nope. Hold on. I lost your audio for a second. Let me catch up with this. Your audio comes through so great on the stream. Hold on. So let me just take this all in for a second. I lost you for 2 seconds. Okay, cool. Yeah, you make a good point because they wouldn't be so naive to make it such a deep cut item like that. So you're right. They would make it something accessible to the casual audience. What I do hope, though, since there's only, 2 hours and 35 minutes of film, which is a significant amount of time. I mean, The Last Jedi felt like forever. So an extra 3 minutes. I can't remember how long The Last Jedi was. Was it 2:31? I feel like with this film, as long as that item, whatever it has to be, I think really is in the first act and is explored in a way that allows us to like sink our teeth into it without, I guess, being too confused yet. Like somehow something that hasn't been introduced in these films in a way we've never seen, like Horcrux sort of things like this that could kill a big Force user or something, right? But I think as long as it's introduced in a way that we get it right away of what this thing could be, or what its potential is, then I think we'll be on board. It doesn't have to be called the Sith Dagger. It doesn't have to be called the Knife of Mortis or Dagger of Mortis. But I just worry about it. Like, what if they do go such a deep cut route to please hardcore fans sometimes? And I don't think, and this isn't to say I think TLJ is being retconned by Tross at all. I think no matter what, people are going to say that. It's just like the way of the internet. But I do hope that this isn't like just something that's going to fly over people's heads if it is going to be like the god killer weapon, because to me that's badass. I think if that's what it really is, and that's what I hope it is, that's awesome. And like, I don't need any context for it, but I hope whatever context they give for it in the film really works. I guess that's what all I can really hope for.
The thing that really brings this for me is you have to kill Sheevy P. Palps, right? You got to kill Palpatine. How do you do that? He might be invincible for all we know. But they're going to have to put an end to him. Otherwise, what is the point?
Exactly.
You know,
I mean, he's literally the devil of the Star Wars galaxy. I mean, he's beyond the Force now, right? He's perverted it so much. The Force can't even kill him, essentially. You know?
Exactly. But you bring up this dagger that we have. Blanca here just says she's never seen it. If it can do what it's meant to be done, then you could kill Sheevy in the galaxy, the Star Wars galaxy. However, I just want to bring this up briefly. We've never seen a Sith Force ghost.
No.
Could we potentially see a scenario? Because I was talking to my friend Din, F105, who does the music at the beginning and the end of these live streams. And he always talks about how George Lucas always had this plan of a Force. We've talked about this on other Flying Casual, Force Ghost war kind of thing, where we enter like some other like realm and the Force Ghosts go to war. Now that might be a little bit much, especially for the very, very end of this Skywalker saga, the third one of this trilogy. However, if they are able to kill him, his physical form, is there a chance, I gotta ask you, is there a chance that we will see him in the Force Ghost realm, and that maybe is how we get ourselves Anakin and Luke Skywalker to come in, and then the ultimate showdown at the end of this thing is between those three?
I would love for what you just said to occur. And I think most people would actually love it too, like going into the netherworld of the Force, because if I'm not mistaken, I think even in the Last Jedi art book or The Force Awakens, they always talked about the final battle, and George Lucas has talked about this being in the netherworld of the Force, the ultimate final battle. So I think knowing that JJ drew inspiration from that sentiment, and he actually drew Force or dark side Force ghosts haunting Luke, and the fact that JJ Abrams is kind of mining his own original creative for The Force Awakens, and a lot of that has now been in Tross. Like we see the Death Star, or we don't see we see super Death Star destroyers rising out of the ground. In the art book, we see the Death Star rising out of the ground. We see Rey and the Death Star in the throne room swimming. Now we see throne room scene with Kylo and Rey. So he's like mining his own self and story to try to tell this final battle thing, right? So I think the fact that he did show a Sith ghost haunting Luke, I think that gives credence to what you just said, that I do think we will see a bit of some sort of netherworldness going on, way more than Force ghosts. And one of my original dumb theories in my head was that perhaps there was a part of this movie that is traveling from being first dying from the netherworld of the Force back to life. And like, it's just dumb speculation on my behalf based on some things that George Lucas said way back in the day about Return of the Jedi, about the final netherworld battle. But I have to assume that they're going to go there a little bit, especially if they're bringing back Palpatine. And I can't imagine if this is going to tie in with the prequels that they won't be showing a lot of Force ghosts in general. So I feel like it's almost a necessity, but I have no idea how they're going to go into that netherworld stuff, that Sith Force ghost thing. Like, I feel like it'd be really brief if they do it.
Yeah, I have the same feeling. If there was a way to do it, it would have to be brief. And then I almost feel like if it is brief, are we going to feel like it was worthwhile? Is it just like a tack on at the end? Like, oh, and then it's like the horror movie at the end when the bad guy comes up for the last scare and then they knock him out. You're like, is that really what? Yeah, like I don't want
they're
that.
like walking away, like maybe Kylo and Rey are just like, we did it. They're walking away, and then like she just like a Force Ghost comes up and she stabs him with the dagger, and then like that's the end of the movie, and it's a freeze frame, and like that's it.
And then it turns out that Kylo Ren was a virgin, and that's how he stayed alive the whole time, just like in Scream.
Yeah, it turns into into Palpatine actually survived, and he went on to actually become a benign citizen of Black. You know what I mean?
Yes. I do question, like, we haven't seen Luke. We know that Mark Hamill's in it. They put his name in the cast list right away. It was like, they're like, no questions. Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, they're in the cast. But we don't know what capacity he's in it at all. And they haven't shown it. We've heard his voiceover, but we've heard his voiceover in trailers before in this saga, and they haven't necessarily been from the movie that we're watching. So who knows if it's a red herring or if it's fact. I'm going to take the Rise of Skywalker voiceovers, the trailer voiceovers by Luke Skywalker at face value. I'm going to say those are words he speaks in this movie.
Yes.
I don't know.
110%, I believe you.
Do you think he's talking to Rey or Kylo?
I think he's talking to Kylo Ren.
Oh.
And the reason I think that is because I don't know how to articulate this in a way that doesn't because I don't want to diminish Rey. I think JJ did something very interesting with the way he set up in his closing this trilogy, and in the way Ryan Johnson even explored their dynamic. JJ presented us with another figure like Luke to gravitate towards in another sort of surrogate Darth Vader. And I think we were supposed to say, oh, we're going to follow the Rey story. And that's definitely part of it, 110%. But I think the bait and switch is that we're going to come to realize that we were watching Ben Solo's story. And that the whole trick with JJ is us thinking it was only really specifically about Rey and the light and all that stuff. I'm starting to think, based on the Kylo Ren comic, how much effort they're putting into Kylo Ren's story, that the intent of all of this was to sort of focus on him primarily. And that's why I think that he's going to be speaking to Ben in a moment, perhaps, where he finally decides internally, which is what redemption is in my head, internally to do the right thing, regardless of where that happens in the film. I think then we hear confronting fear is the destiny of a Jedi, and like Ben Solo has done that, and unfortunately, part of that was the result of his old Jedi Master Luke, and I think because Luke is now going to be a Force ghost, those Force ghosts have sort of omnipotent knowledge or omniscience. I'm not sure if you read From a Certain Point of View, that anthology. They talk about how Obi-Wan kind of just knows everything, the future, the past, the now, everything. You can see it all at the same time. So I have to imagine that sort of thinking is happening with Luke, so we can see the big picture finally and realize that perhaps this is what he needs to say right now to a slowly re-emerging Ben Solo, to get him back on the path. And that's just my instinct. And then the other side instinct is he's talking to the two of them at once at the end of the film. And that's about it. Like, I mean, but that's
at the end of the film.
I'm sorry, say that again?
At the end of the film.
Yeah, that was the other thought I had. Like, after everything's done, after everything's all said and done, he sort of consummates maybe the not the, I don't want to say marriage or anything like that. Like, he like sees the two of them and he just appears, and maybe it's a little bit after, saying like, what you did was the destiny of the Jedi. You were both afraid. You both conquered it. Kylo Ren was in deeper than Rey was, but Rey still she tangos with the dark side. She definitely does. And even Luke himself is so afraid of his own fear that he avoids being connected to the Force in The Last Jedi. So I think the fact that he's going to be dispelling that it has to be to somebody more than just Rey, I think. And like I said, the fact they're doubling down on Kylo Ren's story and his backstory, I can only imagine that they really want us to start sympathizing with him so we can accept his turn at the end.
I like what you said about Rey, because in The Last Jedi, Kylo tells her that she has no place in this story. And it would hurt almost if she didn't, but it would also be kind of like, oh, all right. So she doesn't have a place in this, and she is our guide to Kylo and to Ben. She's our guide there.
Well, she does have a place, though, like, I guess, because, she really does, because if Kylo is so lonely, and his loneliness is the thing that perpetuates his state of wanting to destroy everything, Kylo's the first, or Rey's the first person that sat down and wanted to listen to him.
Yes.
And that's not nothing. That's so big. And then he reached out to her through space and time. Like, that's so big, it's unbelievable. And only Rey could do that for Kylo Ren. Parents couldn't do it, Han couldn't do it, Luke couldn't do it. Somehow this random person, just as lonely as he is, could do it. Like, I think that's her I don't want to say like she's just there for the guy, but she allowed this dude to realize he can be more than this thing.
She's there for
that
the
he's just turning
Skywalker.
himself into. I'm sorry, say that again?
She's there for the Skywalker.
Yeah.
Not the guy, the Skywalker. Like, that's what this saga is about, and that's what her purpose is.
Yeah, she, in a way, she's almost like galvanizing them all to atone. If you think about it, except for Leia. Leia doesn't really need to atone for shit. But Han Solo sort of had to atone for his fatherhood. Luke had to atone for his mentorship. Ben didn't have to atone for all his sins. And Rey might be the person kind of pushing everybody to do this thing. She's like, I don't know. What do you call that person? The motivator?
Yeah, I guess just... I have to say, I hope when this movie ends, Rey is way up there. I mean, she's up there, but I hope she's way up there on my favorite Star Wars characters, on my list of favorite Star Wars characters. Like, I hope when I come out of this, I have like this greater understanding of who she is. Because right now I like Rey, but I'm like, do I mostly like the charisma of Daisy Ridley? Do you know, like, there's a piece of Rey that I'm still waiting to drop, and I think they're waiting to drop it on us.
Oh, big time.
Yeah, and that's when I'm like, I can't put Rey anywhere yet because, well, her story's not done. Like, it's not over. And she...
Isn't it nuts that people want it? They're like, what else is there to tell? The Last Jedi came out. Like, they don't know anything. And I'm like, dude, there's no other movie. There's one more movie coming out. I know. Relax.
It's like, we're going to get... I think, like, we're going to get some kind of... Something is going to hit us. I don't know if it's going to be a bomb or what, but something's going to hit us.
Well, what did you think when you saw Rey facing off against Big Ben on the Death Star ruins? Like, part of me is like, she's looking angry, and part of me is like, she looks scared to death. So I'm like, it's like I posted a video recently. I'm like, is something going on with her? Like, is something wrong? And I do think I wonder. And this is what I speculated in my video. I wonder if we're going to be introduced in this film to a immensely doubtful, pessimistic Rey.
Well, in The Force Awakens, when she's a Mary Sue, that everybody likes to claim, she has no fear, really. She has nothing to lose. She's like, she can kick ass with her staff. Like, so she kicks ass, but she has no real fear. And Kylo kind of starts besting her, and then she's kind of losing it, and then she figures out the Force and all that. Last Jedi, again, doesn't really have fear, but she's had some teaching now, but she's kicking ass because she's awesome. In this movie, now, from what we're seeing in the trailer, she's getting training. And the thing is, training will make you better, but it'll also instill more fear in you because you're going to learn of the dangers around you, right? She's going to know more about the dark side, more about what Kylo Ren is all about, more about what all that dark energy can do to her. She's already experienced a little bit in The Last Jedi. So I think as much as she's going to be a lot stronger, she is going to have a lot more of that fear because of the more knowledge you have. The older I get, the more terrified. I can't climb. I do like the indoor rock climbing. I get up 4 feet. I'm like, I'm out. And they're like, why? I'm like, because you don't have stairs coming down. I'm out. I don't care.
I'm totally with you. That's so funny.
Yeah, like the older you get, the more scared you are. And I think you're right. I think there is a little bit of fear, but I think it's fear based on knowledge. And part of it is she's going to have to overcome that fear.
Yeah, that's true. Like, because, well, the other thing, too, is if you think about it, like, The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi takes over, 4 days? 5 days, maybe.
Yeah.
At best 2 weeks, maybe.
At max, yes.
Yeah, at max. So in a span of a very tiny amount of time, although Rey is a badass, she's been put into a position of power that she's not even ready for.
Yeah.
Like Leia's like, "You're the Luke, dude," and the whole Resistance like, "You floated rocks. You're so cool. You're gonna be the best." And now they're just like, "Yeah, she's gonna save us. She's gonna get the Mon Calamari people to want to join us and all this shit." And it doesn't happen. And she keeps getting, I don't know if you've been keeping up with the Allegiance comics, but she is frustrated in those because she's like, everybody thought I was gonna be this amazing Jedi, and I'm just failing and just doing nothing, and I'm not participating, and she just feels like stagnant. And I'm like, this is leading us into some weird territory with her, because we're finally going to see her. It's not that she can't do badass things and like she defends herself and kicks ass in the comics, but it's only at a moment where she has no longer any more time to have any self-doubt. It's just like do or die. The Force kicks in, she's ready to kick ass. But any other time, if she's in self-doubt mode, it's like nothing works. It's unbelievable. So
interesting.
Yeah, it's so weird. I
can't find a comic shop where I live anymore, so I can't grab anything. It's the
worst. That's a bummer. I'll just take pictures and send them to you. I'm not even kidding.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, please, because I've been trying to find a comic shop and I can't right now.
I lucked out. There's one up the street from me where I moved
nice.
to. But yeah, so I feel like the reason I saw what you just mentioned, which is like she kicked ass for 2 full movies, but she still kind of like never exactly got the experience she was looking for. The guy she hates wanted to be her teacher at first. Mm-hmm. The guy that tried to kill her on Starkiller Base or whatever, or to her mind, that the guy that tried to kill her, that killed this mentor figure, he wants to teach her. And then she goes to the Legend, and he's just a curmudgeon that drinks like thalassiren milk, and then finally he teaches her something, but then he ends up still letting her down. So like all in that tiny span of time, so many crazy experiences happen where she's trying to just be taught the right thing to do, and now she sort of is like left to her own devices, and it just seems like it's getting to her, especially as like somebody propelled into that status. So she's like she's the accidental legend almost.
Yeah, she is the accidental legend. Did you think, like, what were you? I just want to rewind it a bit. 4 years ago when you first saw The Force Awakens, what were your overall thoughts of, if you can remember, of the new characters, and then I want to know where you thought Last Jedi was going to go before you saw Last Jedi. I just want to know that.
Wait. So a part of you cut out a little bit.
Of course it did. The woods and the blizzard outside.
So hold on, I'm gonna read this. If you can remember of the new characters, when I want to know what you thought. So you want to know what I thought of the new characters, like right before I was going into The Last Jedi?
When you came out of it, and also where you thought the story was going.
After that, that's so hard. Oh yeah. Man.
Do you remember it all?
Yeah. I was confused. Like initially, I was like, "What? This feels like the end of the trilogy." That's what it kind of felt like, but what it left me with is feeling like Kylo Ren and Rey are like the ultimate like feuding couple in space, but like not in a cheesy way. Like they are like, it left me realizing that like Kylo Ren is so much more than this badass in a mask with a distorted voice, which I loved in The Force Awakens. I loved that version of Kylo Ren, that menacing, weird jerk that like just destroys things because he's pissed off. But when you see him vulnerable, and you see him and Rey, and like the whole way that thing ended, it was almost just like it feels more like a dream of a movie, the way it ends. Like it's like, I don't even know how to articulate this. It felt like the story of the battle kind of ended the way it wrapped up, just because of the natural nature of the happy ending in the Falcon. Like, we have all we need, like that kind of thing. But before that, it just like, if it ended with her closing the door on like Kylo Ren and like maybe just the Falcon taking off and something a little less positive, I feel like that would have felt a little more like hanging fruit for us to pick up on, I guess, for the next film. But yeah, overall, my feelings when I left was that I literally had no idea what the heck could happen after that, because it left nothing besides her closing the door on him. And like, it just leaves you to wonder, are they going to have Force Bond connections in the next movie? Which now maybe seems like it. Seems like they said they're doubling down on it. But I can't really say if there was a sense of feeling like I knew where it was going after.
Yeah, that's what I find so intriguing about this movie is I have no idea where they're going with it. And now I watch these trailers, I'm like, I still don't know where you're going with it, and I'm super excited.
Yeah.
And then you see something like this, which you know, I know, you know, hopefully optimistic. I'll say that it's the Mortis dagger. Hopefully optimistic, not probably. It probably isn't. I think we're both in agreement there that, you know,
Yeah.
we hope more than we think. It does look a little bit different, but
Yes.
But, you know, I think we can all agree that there was that the weird thing with the fandom is that people loved The Last Jedi and people didn't love The Last Jedi. That's what happened. And it seems like notes have been taken behind the scenes on some of that, because there's looking like, you know, you go to JJ, who brought the fandom back after the prequels, which whether or not it was gone was another argument. But you know what I mean? Like, that was the intent, obviously, with what he was making with that film, was let's bring Star Wars back into popularity. Let's make people love it once again and remind you why you loved it when you were a kid or whatnot. Now he's brought in again to basically do the same thing, to remind you that, hey, if you didn't like Last Jedi, that's fine. We're going back to the Star Wars that you know. But he also didn't bring back aliens that we knew so much. The pod racing flags were deleted. Do you think he's the kind of guy that would put in a dagger from Mortis?
Well, the reason I think the potential is yes is because of how obsessive Rian Johnson was about specifically just watching those 3 episodes and letting that influence him so dramatically for The Last Jedi. I don't know if like you know that or if that's like general like news out there that everybody knows. I know Girls with Sabers and Boop Anthem Milko and all us, like we've talked about stuff like this before, and I think he asked essentially to the story group, or even potentially even Dave Filoni. I'm not sure who he asked, but he was like, how far can I go with the Force? And they were like, watch these 3 episodes. Mm-hmm. And they made him watch the Mortis episodes, the Clone Wars. And knowing that JJ originally didn't play nice with story group, but that now they're trying to make a final cohesive whole, I think he kind of has to, no matter what. And this is just my assumption. So I would assume that JJ would be inclined to follow suit if it made creating the whole stew a lot easier with, like, you know, Rian Johnson had a really easy time making his film, apparently. So I think hitting up the story group, getting some like story beats off of what could happen and what he could use and what could kind of tie these 2 films together, I wouldn't put it past him, especially trying to make sure these 3 films feel cohesive. But like I said, I don't think he's going to call it the Mortis thing. I think there could be something where like people like us know, like maybe we see the Shrine of Mortis, like the art somewhere, or like something similar, or like the 3 triangles in a circle, like something that makes us think of the father, son, and daughter in this film, which not only, you know, Kylo Ren, Luke, and Rey kind of make me think of that already. And then in a dark side version of that is Kylo Ren and Palpatine, right? So I just feel like there's so many parallels to the idea of Mortis that I feel like I wouldn't put it past JJ to throw that in there. I feel like it's possible. I just don't think it'll be called the Dagger of Mortis. So
I absolutely agree. I don't think there's any chance that they would call it that.
I just don't think, though, he'll go deep, though.
Yeah.
JJ's not a deep dude in regards to what, like, Rian Johnson wants to, like, go into. Rian Johnson wants to go into somebody's mind and figure out what's ticking, where I think JJ knows how to riff off of people that set that thing up, if that makes sense. Absolutely. Like, somebody can, like, make a good beat, and he's like, ooh, sweet. I know how to make that look wicked cool. Yeah. Or reformat that into a thing that people will be excited about again in a different way. And honestly, like if I had to make a wild guess, when they talk about like these new battles that are going to be crazy and the force bonds are way intense now, it's just JJ. And I don't say Michael Baying in like a negative term right here, but just I have nothing else to say. I think he's just gonna like Michael Bay the force bonds, but make him sort of badass classic Star Wars kind of fight scene scenario kind of things. Like he's taking something that already exists that somebody already created, retrofitting it for something that he would think is cooler. And like that's how I think he works, kind of.
That is how he works. If you watch any of his movies, that's Super 8. Is that the only the Star Treks or Star Treks? Mission Impossible. This is this.
Yeah. Also, that actually true. From There's Another, he does have the ghost ship front and center, so that is true. He is poaching from a lot of things.
Yeah, but
or it could just be the same model ship. For all
exactly, it's probably the same model ship. It would be very awesome and cool if you heard Hera or Jason Syndulla in that ship, or if the ship was like Captain Jason.
See you, Blue Bantha. Those guys are heading out.
See ya. Thanks for stopping by. I can't even read my screen.
I just had to take a sip of my champagne.
Oh yeah. Do you know what kind of champagne it is?
Well, it's from my sister-in-law's wedding from 2 years ago.
Ooh, so it's aged.
It's aged, and it was in a tiny bottle.
All right, tiny bottle of champagne is always good champagne because it's tiny. So it's just one glass of champagne. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I think though that if you want to bring the Mortis Dagger in, you have to. But we got to bring up really quickly.
No.
I lost you there. We got to bring up the World Between Worlds quickly.
Oh, there. Are we good?
We're good. We got to bring up
nice.
the World Between Worlds very quickly.
Okay. You want to start?
Well, I don't really have anything to say. But what do you think? Is it possible that we will see the World Between Worlds in Rise of Skywalker, or some aspect of it in the Rise of Skywalker?
I do think it's possible, and only for one reason. To either explain part of how Palpatine could be back, or to potentially there's in the Jedi, what is it called? The Jedi Path book that I have, there's like this dark nebula force power thing where like you can do like an instant hyperspace travel through like through this blue smoke thing that looks exactly like the explosion on the Death Star. And what's weird is all those colors and the blue hue in that book and the things we're seeing in Rebels, they all kind of look the same, and the poster kind of looks like the hue from like what Palpatine was doing when Ezra was in the World Between Worlds with this like Sith alchemy, which is interesting that's on the poster. It's like literally looks just like what he was doing when Ezra goes into the World Between Worlds. So will we go into that? I don't think we would go into it, but I think at best it would be like alluded to being like, if like Palpatine's back, he's like, I traveled between worlds, like something weird like that, and you're like, what? And we're all just like, ding 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 ding, oh, that's what he's talking about, like something like that, maybe for the deep fans, but the casuals, I think again potentially could see that and be like, dude, what is this? Like, this is so crazy. Or they could love it. I don't know. I mean, to me, I think it'd be fine, but it's hard to say. Like, well, if my sister went, who likes Star Wars enough to know everything about the films at least, will she know what the heck's going on if like all of a sudden, like, let's say Han Solo falls down the pit and like somebody opens up a World Between Worlds portal, like, and it retcons him and he falls down like Loki style in freaking Thor Ragnarok. And like, have you seen that movie when like Loki's and he's like, I've been falling for 30 minutes, and it's just Han Solo, and he finds like he never actually died. He just falls down on the ground with a 3rd-degree burn, and he's just like, I'm back. Like maybe, but I just feel like it would be.
It's too much work almost.
A little insane.
Yeah, Mr. Rez says maybe the novelization. That's somewhere you could throw something like that in there.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think JJ, like you said, is going to go for a little bit simple in regards to how everything is sort of portrayed and done. But I think what I like about what he's doing, the length of the movie, and knowing that JJ sort of set up what he has to finish at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I like that he's sort of forced into this weird creative corner of having to please two factions of fans, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a good thing. Like, people like me, I like most Star Wars equally, to varying degrees, obviously. I don't hate any Star Wars film at all. I do think some are better, obviously. And what I like right now is, like, there's so much conjecture over this movie being bad and that movie being this and that, and it's kind of like boring. But at the end of the day, I think, why not just like see if this film can actually merge these two very diverse. But the story is a full ride, and then TLJ is like a full stop. Like, you just stop and you hang out with these people for 3 hours. I think he has to merge the two styles together, kind of, and it kind of looks like that too. His look for this movie is super dreamy, which I don't think The Force Awakens looked like that at all. The Force Awakens to me will always look like a TV movie, and it doesn't mean I don't like it. It looks like it's in my top 5, but it looks like a pilot to me. And I'm not sure why.
It was never my favorite looking either of the. I agree with you. It has that look to it. I'm a big critic. Everybody, we're back.
Oh yeah. We're gonna call this Boys with Struggles instead of Girls with Struggles, because that's what we used to do in Girls with Sabers.
This is, oh man, it hasn't been this bad in a while.
It happens. Well, dude, we're probably like 5,000 miles, or not 5,000. Like what, 1,200 miles between us right now?
Yeah, seriously. Do you think JJ's desperate? Let's go. Blanca says this. JJ's desperate for the Rey and Kylo relationship.
Oh, I totally think he's a Reylo guy. I mean, I personally believe he set up the whole thing. I don't know if he would have gone down the same avenues in the same way Rian Johnson would have, but I mean, when you listen to his commentary, the second Rey and Kylo meet in the forest, he's like, he's like a prince, and it's like Beauty and the Beast, and he's just talking about all these fairy tales and like princes and all this stuff. He knows what he's doing. I think, like I said, I think the whole gimmick of the whole sequel trilogy is us thinking that Rey was supposed to be the next Luke. I think we were supposed to pay attention to Kylo Ren, mostly, and watch his story. Yeah, that's all I have to say. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with you, especially after this talk. I think so. I hope that we see this Mortis Dagger in there. I think that'd be absolutely cool. I don't know. There's just so many I don't knows when it comes to this. That's what I love about it. I know that international trailer is probably going to drop, that we'll get one extra little thing that'll make us go, and then we'll be talking about. So. Yeah, I remember when the Force Awakens came out, we got the last trailer. We're like, oh, that was good. Then like a few weeks later, the international one came out and had Kylo Ren put his lightsaber up to Rey's neck, and it was like, what just happened? Game changer. So I think we're in. I don't know if we're getting anything that drastic, but we got Dark Rey on the late summer middle trailer of this movie. So
yeah, I straight up, like, as much as I think I'm smart enough to know what's going on, and like you can go read the leaks or whatever, but still those still kind of just don't make sense. Like, sure, they match up with the imagery of the trailers, but that's literally it. I have no idea what's going on. But I like that. I like people like make fun of JJ in his trailers, and they're like, I have no idea what's going on. What the hell is the point of that? I'm like, good. You should just feel like you just watched something fun.
Yeah.
You shouldn't know what's going on. Whereas when I retroactively look at the Last Jedi's trailers, it literally told us the whole movie.
Yeah, it did.
Which is really funny because you didn't really know it when you're watching it, but it was just so straight up with its marketing. It's time for the Jedi to end, and like that's it. With this stuff, I'm like, okay, Finn's talking about the Force, Poe's looking for a fleet to lead and people to believe they will lead them, and the only person that fully understands Rey is Kylo Ren. Exactly. That's all I got. Which is exactly sort of what I got from the end of from Last Jedi at the end, at the end of that. So, yeah, I guess that's the answer to your question from like 40 minutes ago. That's
Well,
what I got from. That's what I got from the end of the last Jedi.
I'm sure my audio and video just caught up to that point in time anyway, the way this one's going. All right, we're going to wrap it up. You good to wrap it up?
Yeah, totally. I've
wanna
had a really good time.
I had a great time. Thank you. But before I do, I gotta open this.
Nice.
This is from good friend Aaron. He sent it. This is from your neck of woods, the United States of America. I don't know what's in it.
It's a pretty nice
book.
red box.
It is a nice red box. Oh, look at that! The Book of the Sith. Did you see that? I'm gonna do my next show is just gonna be me reading this book.
All of a sudden, like you get orange eyeballs and like you're like,
I turn into a Sith. This is awesome. And then, oh, look at that! This is the Star Wars
That's amazing.
Black Series mystery box. This is a Target exclusive. I don't have Target, so I can't watch it. Aaron, thank you so much.
that's so right.
Yeah. What's in here? A pin, an exclusive Lucasfilm comic book, a mystery box series figure.
You're gonna like it.
And a knit hat. How am I not gonna like it?
I got that one too.
Did you?
It's pretty dope.
All right, I can't wait. I'll just open the whole thing. I got a knife. I pre-cut the tape off the box before this, so I didn't have to be the guy that did this, and now I have to do it.
Do it with your teeth. That's how we do it in Boston.
Wait, so you like a Red Sox fan?
Nah, dude, I'm so bad at sports. Like I'm really good at playing baseball and football.
All right.
But put me in front of a TV and I'll just fall asleep if baseball's on.
I
can't do it.
Really?
I can't do it.
What is this? This is crazy.
I know.
So check it out. So this is Star Wars Allegiance. I got a comic book. I dropped it. I got a comic book. Oh, what is this? A Black Series Snowtrooper.
Oh, yeah.
Freaking! I almost bought this one. Thank goodness I didn't. And oh, look at that First Order Stormtrooper pin. This is amazing.
It's such a good variant cover.
And Sith Trooper hat. It is. That's a nice cover. That is totally awesome. The first, was yours Snowtrooper as well, or was it different?
Yeah, I think they were all the same this year. I got the Snowtrooper pin and the hat. I lost the hat. I don't know where it is.
Oh, the hat is. I'm wearing this all winter long. This is a sick box too. This is awesome. Thank you, Aaron, and thank you everybody for listening. And Nick,
thanks.
AT, whatever you want to be called. I'll call you Ats.
Nick at chat.
Thanks, we have to do this again when we have better internet.
Yeah, I'll have you on my end. Maybe I can try to. I don't know, but then again, who knows? It's Canada and the USA. They don't want us to be friends.
They clearly don't. I blame the snow, which makes sense because I got a snowtrooper, so now I can go outside and venture in that. What I wanted to say though is we'll definitely do more, and I want to do another video with you. You know what it is.
That's right.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. That'll come up soon. But I can't wait. Slow down, James. I'm excited. So Stormtrooper Black Series, Book of Sith, hat, and the pin is somewhere. I dropped the pin.
The pin's the best part.
I know it is. Oh, where did I put it? Oh, here it is. Ugh. And look at this pin is rad though.
I love so I have the Book of the Sith, and I love just popping that open, being like, what am I gonna learn today, folks?
Yeah, this is
like I've never like read it front to back. I just kind of just go around in it. It's a pretty dope pen.
There's a note from Aaron and Noah in here. Thank you so much. This is awesome. Can't wait. I'm gonna read this to Aaron and my rabbit Carlos to bed tonight. They all want to hear that book. The bedtime stories, the Book of the Sith.
Yeah, you read it to your kids?
Yeah.
And that's when we killed people. What? What, Daddy? Oh, it's the Book of the Sith. Hold on. Whoopsie.
All right, I'm going to play this music here, and that's how everybody knows that the internet problems, you guys don't have to suffer through this anymore. Nick, thanks. So, man, this was awesome. We seriously got to do it again on your channel with internet, and we'll do it again here when we have internet here as well. I promise.
Thanks so much for having me, man.
Thank you, and thank you, everybody. And as always, may the force of others be with you.